Good evening, everybody. It is 7 p.m., and we are going to start the Town Council meeting Tuesday, May 26, 2026, 7 p.m. Hope everybody had a wonderful Memorial Day weekend, a long weekend, and we welcome the Winter Guard here, who we're going to acknowledge here at the beginning of the meeting, so thanks to all of you who were able to come. We're going to ask you all to start us off with the pledge in a little bit. I'll give you the cue, okay? All right, Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Christopher Palmieri.
Here.
Joshua Serafino.
Here.
David Zoni.
Here.
Jennifer Klock.
Here.
Michael Del Santo.
Present.
Kristen Gaida.
She's on the phone.
Council, oh, Alex, it looks like it went off. Councilwoman Guida, can you hear us?
You want me to have her call myself?
Yeah, why don't you do that as a backup, Mike? Yeah. It just said Cisco on it, there was nothing on there.
I don't have her number.
I got it.
I know.
Chris, do you have Kristen's, you want to put Kristen's
You
number?
want
Yeah, just call her and
Okay.
put her on cell phone.
Okay.
Chris, is it
You
5520?
Oh, you want to do it, or you
Yeah.
want me? Okay,
You want to put yours there, or do you want me to put mine up?
sure. Kristen? It's up to you. You want to keep it center? It's okay?
We'll put it right here.
All right, Kristen, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
Anybody want to look at Chris's text messages while we're passing it down? Oh, you're going to do it right there? Okay. Sounds good. All right, we have Councilwoman Guida, are you here?
I am, yes.
James Morelli.
I can hear.
Tony Morrison.
Here.
Paul Chaplinsky.
I'm here, and thank you, Councilwoman Guida, for participating, being so far away in multiple time zones. We appreciate you being here. We're going to all please stand for the prayer and the flag salute.
Our Father, help us this night to do the right thing in all of the issues that we consider. Help us to not be persuaded by popular opinion or political ambition, but rather to see this office we hold as a gift from you. Help us walk upright in this calling. Amen.
United States of America. And to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we're moving on to item number 2. We're looking for a motion to approve the minutes of the Town Council meeting for the Town of Southington, May 11th,
I'll make a motion-
2026.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the May 11th Town Council meeting.
Second.
We have a motion from Mr. Palmieri and a second from Mr. Zoni. Any discussion on the minutes? Okay, hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the motion passes unanimously. We're moving into item 3, councilperson communications. A, presentation of proclamation for Winter Color Guard. Chris, did you want to start off by talking a little bit about it? We have a proclamation that we'd like to read, and we're going to invite you all up, but Councilman Palmieri, maybe we'll start us off with the discussion.
Sure. First of all, we cannot tell you enough how proud of you we are for what you went out and did, and especially in such a young time frame. I know the program just recently restarted, but to go out and being so new to this program and come back as national champions, your town is very proud of you. So we wanted to acknowledge you publicly at a town council meeting. I had the pleasure of attending the Board of Ed meeting where they were recognized, and part of that meeting, they actually showed the video clip of the award-winning program that they had put together. So it was incredible to be able to see that and to see the enthusiasm from the crowd and really the other Winter Guards that were there cheering you on as well. So it was beyond exciting to see that, and we are very proud of you and happy to celebrate you tonight.
And your finals performance was an Olympics performance, correct? It was the France Olympics. And how was Dayton, Ohio? Awesome. It's a nice city, right? It's a good city, good place to be. Did you know there's a Southington, Ohio? There you go. How far were you? Do you know? I've never been there. Excellent. So,
Mike Tyson had a house in Southington.
Did he? Yeah, cool. Well, the performance was, as Chris said, it was beautiful. It was really nice. I could tell by watching the video how excited you guys were. I saw, a couple of you, they brought up close, of course, with the video when it ended, and you could tell how enthusiastic. In fact, I found myself saying, "Oh, don't drop a flag. You only got 30 seconds left." And if I was saying that, I'm sure you all were doing the same thing. As you neared the end, I'm sure you felt that pressure, but you definitely endured. And what a wonderful feat it was. I think 4 years with the program that you're in right now, and to bring it home again is just it's a wonderful feat. So congratulations to you. What we'd like to do is let's invite you up. We'll have the council come up in front here. We'll invite all of the members to come on up. We'll say hi, and then we'll read you the citation, and we'll take a few photos afterwards, if that's okay. All right, come on up.
It really wasn't
How many stops?
a lot.
Excellent. I'm going to steal the microphone. I'm going to stand behind you only because I want to read this so that it can be heard for the record for everybody, okay? And then I'll come around and meet you and congratulate you, and we'll give it to you in the center, okay? And then you can share it afterwards. Okay, so what we have here is the Town of Southington proclamation, the SHS Winter Color Guard, whereas the Southington High School SHS Varsity Winter Color Guard program was triumphantly restarted just 4 years ago, following a 20-year hiatus, and whereas displaying unprecedented dedication, talent, and perseverance, the team traveled to Dayton, Ohio in April for their first ever appearance at the Winter Guard International World Championship competition. Whereas the ensemble achieved a remarkable 5th place out of 134 competing color guards in preliminary round, advancing to 2nd place out of 55 groups in the semifinals, and ultimately made program history by securing the gold medal in the Friday night finals, besting the 2nd place competitor by over a full point. It was 97 points and change, I think it was, right? Yeah. Good job. Whereas this extraordinary milestone is a direct reflection of the tireless work ethic of the coaching staff, the boundless support of the parents, and the incredible commitment of all of you, the students, who benefited tremendously from the discipline and artistry of this activity. And now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Paul Chaplinsky, Chairman of the Southington Town Council, and on behalf of the entire Town Council and Councilwoman Gaida, who is with us remotely, we proudly congratulate the students, parents, and staff of the SHS Varsity Winter Color Guard for their spectacular gold medal victory, their historic season, and for bringing immense pride and excellence to our entire community. Proclaim this 26th day of May on behalf of the Southington Town Council. Congratulations. I'm going to give that to you. Congratulations. Congratulations. We'll get a couple photographs here. I'll scoot back in. Come on in. Everybody move in, move in. There we go. Do the parents want to come up for a photo? Mary, will you take a couple photos? Okay. Excellent. Come on in. You want to stand next to your child? Sure. Come on in. Scoot in. There you go. There you go. The more the merrier. All right. And the staff, yeah. All right, staff, come on up. Mary will keep getting a couple photos here. We'll get everybody in.
I'm like, we're here. More stuff.
Mr. Guarino?
Wonderful. Congratulations. Thank you so much for coming out. We'll take a 5-minute recess.
any of that stuff.
Oh, you should have had at least a,
What? Banner.
because they got to go.
Can you pass the jelly beans? I want to see if they're Starburst or
Yeah, she put a spoon in there,
Yes,
so
that's nice. Nice touch.
scoop them in your hand. Not bad, I had a couple. What do you think?
Yeah, they're definitely toning up. Good.
So they're at what school? Which middle school are they at?
I thought it was. Is that the high school?
That's the high school. Wow. They look younger as well.
Ever eat jelly beans unless they're in front of me. Seriously, I never go to the store and buy jelly beans, but my wife gets them for Easter and stuff. Oh, forget it, then I can't stop.
I only eat the green ones.
Green.
I don't know why.
My mouth was watering looking at Paul's soda.
Oh, I know.
Be out of here, buddy.
Oh, for sure.
I know.
All right.
What a jelly.
You got the little roast.
No, I didn't.
I'll tell you, he told me all about it.
Yeah.
Guy from Long Island. There you go. I'm paying all cash. Does I get a discount? Jim goes, join the club, everyone's paying all cash.
Yeah.
So what do you think? People walk around with $2 million in their pocket?
Kristen, you still with us?
Yes, I'm still here.
We're still in recess, so.
Okay. I think we are back in the regular meeting, 7:14 PM. We will continue on with councilperson communications. Before we start here in the room, I'd like to give Councilwoman Gaida the chance, since she's remote, and just ask her if she has anything that she would like to report during councilmatic communications.
I have nothing to report. Thank you for asking.
Okay. Anybody here have anything? Jen, the vice chair.
I have a couple things. On Wednesday, May 20th, myself, Councilman Del Santo, and Councilman Palmieri had the opportunity to honor 4 students entering the military, so I just want to recognize them. Michael Sear, U.S. Navy, Baden Lovings, U.S. Navy, Amber Bergeron, U.S. Navy, Gabriel Meehan, U.S. Air Force. So I just want to congratulate them again. Such an honorable path that they're taking, and we're so proud of them for representing and serving our country. So we are proud of you.
My absolute favorite day of the year.
Yeah, it was
Hands
awesome.
down, bar none, every year. Good stuff.
Great kids. And the second is, and I'm sure we'll hear about this again, but I just wanted to also had the opportunity on Wednesday, May 20th, myself, Councilman Del Santo, Palmieri, Morelli, and Zoni all gathered to honor Dawn Maselli as she accepted the Unico Gold Medal of Honor. Dawn is not only a prior counselor and zoning commissioner, she's widely known and respected in our community for everything that she's done along the way to bring events and preservation. A few such as the drive-in movie theater restoration, her efforts to restore and promote SoCa, the Downtown Winter Festival, the ice skating rink, and so much more. I could not think of someone more deserving than Dawn. It was a beautiful night. I've had the I've been lucky to serve with Dawn on different committees, and it really was a true honor to present this award, or this proclamation to her. And little known fact, Dawn, myself, and Diane Thompson of SOCA actually designed the current library logo. So check it out. Just one more thing that Dawn has done for this community that has long lasted. And so congratulations to Dawn. That's all.
It's like the Nike swoosh.
Yeah, just like that.
Okay, anybody else? Chris?
Just to add on, just a thanks for the military lunch. Mission Barbecue, one of our businesses in town for years, has donated the lunch. So I think it's important to recognize them too. They come every year, and just out of the goodness of their heart to donate. So we hear a lot of businesses doing that, but I think it's important to recognize and celebrate that. And BJ's also donated the dessert for the event. So thank you to both of them. As was said, it was an honor to be there and recognize these graduating seniors. Yesterday, I had the honor of attending the Memorial Day event. Unfortunately, there was no parade, as we know, because of the weather, but they did have their ceremony. Mr. Del Santo did a fantastic job representing the council. He spoke on our behalf, so it was great to be able to be there and celebrate all the veterans and members of the military in our community. And lastly, I just want to thank the Calendar House. We're trying a new endeavor. The middle school 8th grade art department is doing an art show, so we're starting it tomorrow night. It's our first time ever doing this, so it'll be on display at the Calendar House, hopefully for the seniors to enjoy for the rest of this week, maybe beginning of next week. So if you're around the Calendar House and you would like to see some of the artwork, pop on in. Again, it's the first time we've done it, so I want to thank Dawn and her staff at the Calendar House for hosting us for such a great event.
Thank you, Chris. Anybody else? Okay, just a couple things from my side. Wanted to give the American Legion a shout out for the efforts that they do each and every year. Each and every year for our Memorial Day parade, and then the service, the memorial service afterwards at the American Legion. It's a longstanding tradition in the community. We appreciate the partnership that the American Legion has with the town of Southington, and we are forever in debt to the service that they provide to our community here. Wanted to say thank you for their efforts there, and of course also wanted to just say a thank you and honor all of the military personnel during Memorial Day who gave the ultimate sacrifice, along with their families as well, and especially those in the community who may have been touched by the loss of a service member here in Southington. At the American Legion event following the parade yesterday, I also wanted to honor and recognize Detective Tom Adorado, who was honored for being the Police Officer of the Year. And his honor, also his achievement, allows him the opportunity to get put into a larger pool all the way to the Nationals for Police Officer of the Year. So congratulations to Detective Adorado. We appreciate you and all that you do for our community and the entire police department, and good luck in the next rounds of the consideration. And then I just wanted to ask the town clerk if she can please ensure that that we put the Winter Color Guard proclamation into the meeting minutes. And with that, we will move on to item 4, reports of special committees. A, SHS Roof Committee. Chris.
Sure. We had a meeting. We had a meeting of the SHS Roof Building Committee since our last council meeting. As many people know, I've reported here the project itself, as far as the roof, is completed. What we're now doing is working on the solar portion of that project. So this will be on the roofs. Last week we received approval to move forward with the solar project. So that will be, hopefully the construction will be this coming up soon into the summer. Also, just to give everyone an update, the budget is in great shape for the SHS roof project. The referendum was for $6.9 million. right now, as of now, we've only spent 3.2 million. So it's in really great shape for that project. There are a couple potential outstanding change orders requested, but again, it's still gonna be significantly under budget, so that's great to report.
Any questions? SHS roof. Okay, we'll move on to item B, elementary school roof. Josh?
So following that meeting, we had our elementary school roof meeting, moments after that one. Strong Elementary Schools grant was approved on April 2nd, and the bids are due June 1st. Hatton and Thalberg initially were rejected. Just need some additional information. Those were resubmitted and was granted on May 1st. Those bids probably won't go out until the fall. And the logic behind that was the increased cost during the summertime, because that is when the roofers do a lot of roof replacements. So it was thought to push those off a little bit to get better bids and save the taxpayers dollars. We approved 2 invoices for the initial design and adjourned with no public communications.
Thank you.
That's about right.
Any questions for Councilman Serafino? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to item C, economic strike. Mike?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We had our meeting on May 12th. There was a couple of items on the meeting, but the most important one was Kurt Hollis, who owns property, 60 acres off of 682 Curtis Street. He would like to develop, it's I-2 property, so he'd like to get some buildings built on the property, but the putting in the road is cost prohibitive at this time for him to do it. So he was asking the town for some assistance, and Mr. Perillo thought it'd be a good idea to put in for the STEEP grant. And, you know, yearly the STEEP grant comes out, and there most assuredly will be one this year, because oftentimes in election years, there is a new chance for the STEEP grant. So there was also some discussion about the engineering for the road. So the committee made a motion to send back to the town council, that's why it's on later on tonight in our meeting, for the town to get some bids for the engineering for the road, and then as soon, if the STEEP grant is awarded and he begins to start building the properties, he would pay back the town of Southington for the engineering for the road. And he agreed to all of that, but he was concerned that the town council should be involved in this. That's why it's on for tonight's discussion with regards to it. Now, the STEEP grant is, if the STEEP grant would cover 80% of the cost, and the town would be responsible for the other 20%. Mr. Perillo just cited that recently, about 4 years ago, we had a similar situation up on 1601 West Street, where the property was paying around $3,000 a year in taxes. The property owner agreed to the town putting in a road, and since then, the past 3 years, the town received $280,000 versus $3,000 for the past 3 years. So the endeavor for the road for Curtis Street would recoup its cost infrastructure within a few years if we were able to put the road in. So,
Any questions? Dave?
Is there any estimated cost for the road?
I'm not sure. I think it was upwards of $1 million, though. Yeah, it's bananas. And coincidentally, he's had this situation in the past where he has other properties in town, and it's just, most developments are just cost prohibitive unless it's for residential. Putting in the road is usually the first step, and it costs so much. The infrastructure to put in a road is just so high. So, you know, if Lou is fairly certain that if the road is put in, he'll have no problem getting tenants for this property. So I think it's, you know, I've often said this, and it was a unanimous decision to send back to the town council to do it. I think sometimes you got to pay a little to make a little, and I firmly believe that, especially with businesses. I certainly don't have a problem, but we wanted to put it towards the whole town council so we can vote on it.
Any other questions?
And Mike, just to clarify, 80, if we get the grant, 80% reimbursed for the project,
Correct.
and 20% would be at the taxpayer's
Responsibility
expense.
taxpayers, yep.
Alex, go ahead.
Chair, if I may. The only caveat to that is we don't know how much the grant will be.
Oh, right, so it's
Five
capped.
hundred's been 700. It's
Okay.
only in the 20% cost share. So if it is $1 million road, there's going to be a deficit somewhere. And there was no discussion where that was coming from.
When you said a deficit, what do you mean?
What's $1 million road and we get $500,000, then who's gonna pay for the rest of the road?
And we're only getting 80% of the 500,000 at that.
Correct.
Can we get a rough estimate of the cost of the road
Yeah.
before?
Yeah.
I know this
We gotta
needs
get
to
an
be
order of
shovel-ready, and we
magnitude.
need to be ready to go, but that's kind of,
We can certainly, I think it's okay maybe later on to table this and get some
Yeah.
true numbers for it, and then maybe even talk to the property owner to see what his end would be. And I think he's just looking for assistance. I don't imagine he's looking for the whole bill, you know what I mean? But we can certainly
Great.
speak with him about it.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, anybody else? Yeah, I would ask if we can just get the length of the road, Alex, and, you know, what the comparables are, what do we think the cost is? Does it include, is it just the paving? How about the infrastructure underneath there for, you know, for sewer lines and water and drainage? Is that expected to be included in the costs? I think all that has to be spelled out for us. And I say that because, you know, we also, this, I'm guessing, will come from the undesignated fund. So we need to know how much that is to ensure that we manage that.
So one of the parts of this is there's no plan. So I'm gonna ask the engineering department to take a rough stab at what they think would be appropriate from what was discussed at the the strike committee. Bring that back as a template, a baseline, because there wasn't any guidance on really what exactly they were doing. So we're gonna use the town staff with the town council's blessing, to do a rough schematic, and then if town council likes it, then the applicant has asked us to, for lack of a better term, front the money for professional engineering, and then he'll pay it back when he sells the first lot. We'll mortgage the property. So that's the whole king caboodle.
And maybe the question is also, is it just the engineering, or would he be willing to pay any deficit that comes up? Even if the town fronted it, would he be willing to pay that back, you know? So the 20%, or if it's more than 20% based on, you know, the calculation. I think we got to have a little bit deeper discussion as well on what the potential scenarios are and what the owner may be willing to do.
Absolutely. I can reach out to him as well and find out the 20%.
Everybody okay with that? And then, you know, this may be one, given, you know, where we are, we might want to also have a discussion with the Board of Finance to find out what their perspective is on the cost-sharing ratio, because it could vary, right, from dollar X to dollar Y. And how do they feel about that?
I'll have it put on the next Board of Finance agenda.
Okay, thanks. Okay. Anybody else have questions on economic strike? Okay, thanks, Mike. Item D, Apple Harvest Festival.
great. We had our meeting on Wednesday, May 13th. We're in great shape. So far, we have 32 vendors that are already interested in returning to the festival. Of the 32, 29 are returning vendors from past years. We're making progress with the Arts and Craft Fair, which is our second weekend. We have 10 people interested in the Arts and Craft Fair so far. Sponsorship is off to a great start so far as well. We have collected and pending so far $19,900 in sponsorship, many of whom are return sponsors as well. Some action that we took we went out to RFP for several different components of the festival. Beverage sponsors, we did table. We needed to get a little bit more clarification. It's always between Coke and Pepsi, and we just needed to make sure that we were, excuse the expression, comparing apples to apples, to make sure that the pricing was correct for both those. So we're going to hopefully take action at the next meeting. The grounds cleanup bid through Alex's office, we went out to bid. We didn't have anyone interested in maintaining the same price, so we did go out to bid. We only received one bid, and it was significantly higher, thousands of dollars higher than past years. So we, through his office again, are going out to bid again. We have since reached out to several other people that are in the business of doing this, and we have several bids so far. So hopefully, we'll have a little bit more favorable response when we do that at the next meeting. This is exciting, our festival theme. We have several thoughts for our festival theme, and we decided this year to get public input. So if you haven't seen on our social media, we're looking for people to vote on potential themes for the Apple Harvest Festival. So you can go, again, on our social media, either Instagram or Facebook, and let us know your opinion on that.
Mr. Palmieri?
Yes.
I got a message from Councilwoman Guida. I think you might have dropped her.
Well, I texted, it hung up on me.
I didn't mean to interrupt you, but she
That's
just...
okay, I will call her back, and here we go. Are you back with us?
Yes.
Okay, all right, I'll put you on. And last but not least, we named our Grand Marshal for the Apple Harvest Parade this year, and that person is actually in the room. So it's my pleasure to say that Vicky Triano was named as the Grand Marshal for the Apple Harvest Festival.
Get your walking shoes.
So obviously, we know Vicky's contributions as a member of the town council, but she also served in the Apple Harvest Supervisory Committee. We do try to recognize people that have made a direct impact on the festival itself, and Vicky has served on that committee. So we appreciate everything she's done for the town and the festival.
Congratulations, Victoria. Any questions on Apple Harvest Festival?
Be here before you know it.
Yeah, don't wish it too quick. Summer hasn't even started yet. Okay, item E, Tony, sewer.
Sure, I have a few items. First is we had a little a thing on the sewer receivables issue. Hallery Monterey came, first item on the agenda. And about 3 weeks ago, we got in nearly $90,000 from the various programs that she's doing. And the actual one we have a look at is we have the top 28 offenders, if you like, over $10,000 that they owe. And out of that 28, they owed $430,000 back in March. That's now down to $200,000. So it shows what you can do when you actually concentrate on it. That's due to the first strategy we've talked about, which is to bring in the escrow owners and tell them you've got a large debt on your on the house that you've given a mortgage to, and that tends to that's caused quite a few people to pay. So there'll be more updates on that as we go through the year. Okay. Secondly, we wanted we dedicated another $400,000 to lining, starting in the new year, which is July. We'll use the same vendor as an add-on to their contract, and that'll add on to the $1 million that we did this fiscal year. Okay. We also got a bid from Time Bond as consulting engineering company for our PCB remediation project. They gave us a statement of work to cover the entire project, from development of bids to looking through the bids to consulting engineering on those things, and some overview of the project itself. It'll be on the town manager's agenda, so I won't go into too much detail, but all I'll say is it's a not to exceed bid of $375,000, and the work will roughly last about 3 months once we start the project of remediating the PCBs on site. Okay, let's see. The magnetite hoppers project, which we use in the phosphorus, getting rid of phosphorus out of the water. That's nearly finished, but we gave a contingency to the vendor, which is Kovacs, and we gave them a month because some of the materials weren't delivered. So that's added a month, which will end at the end of June. That project will be done. Okay. And I think that's about it, yes. Oh, sorry, yeah, just, yeah, a quick item. The McDonald's, the pump station next to McDonald's, that's going to be finished this week. The generator will be up and running on the 29th, which is the last thing to be done. And you'll all have noticed if you go to McDonald's on the Merrion Waterbury Turnpike, you'll see the wall and the generator and the pump station. So that's done. And that's the last of our, well, hopefully the last of our pump station work until we get on to remediating the West Street pump station, which is the last one that we're going to deal with. Thank you. That's it.
That pump station is Fort Knox.
It's Fort Knox, right? It's kind of
It's a design
ridiculous.
for future,
It won't happen again.
yeah, fingers crossed, unless it's airborne somehow.
That's right, yeah. It'll have to be.
Bring back 2 for $2 Big Mac.
Any questions on sewer?
I'll be flying down there.
Okay. We are going to invite up Pastor Victoria Trano, former chairwoman, to come on up and talk about America 250.
Grand Marshal Triano?
Marshall.
Grand Marshal
Another
Triano.
title.
I really am very humbled, and I thank the committee very, very much. I was kind of saying, because what? What?
And don't forget the microphone.
Oh, I won't.
Thank you.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I want to talk to you about America 250. It's very exciting. Things are happening. Last week, we had our May meeting, and on the 20th, and we solidified the 20th of June as an outreach day. SOCA normally does their pottery sale, but this year they decided to take the pottery sale to the green, and they gave us the rest of the green. So what that means is that groups and churches and businesses and Hartford Healthcare is going to be there, and Liberty Bank is signed up. So we're going to have little information tables all over the green, which is going to be quite interesting, and maybe some folks in costume. We'll see how that works out. But the other part of it is, during the course of the day, we have a wonderful fife and drum corps coming in. I believe it's from Old Lyme. I think that's where they're from, but they're going to be coming in. They're going to be playing. We have one of the local pastors in town will be reading the Declaration of Independence. We will have, we're hoping to have, I'm pretty sure we do. I have to get in touch with the person who offered to make sure that they're coming. But we think we're going to be able to do a 21-gun salute at around noon. And then for the rest of the day, we have Mission Barbecue again is going to be coming down. Oh my goodness, the liquor store on Queen Street with the big horse in front of it.
Worldwide.
Yeah, I knew you guys would know the liquor store.
I mean,
know.
I've heard.
Yeah, yeah.
This
They're going to
hamburger
be coming
place earlier
and
and now-
offering mocktails, which is going to be great to celebrate a little bit. And it's going to go from 10 in the morning right through to our part of it will go till about 3:30. And then the rest of the day, the pottery sale will continue till, I believe, 5 o'clock. I want to thank DJ Voisin. He's been wonderful to work with. And everybody has kind of stepped up. The other thing I want to just say to you now, by the end of this week, we will have up our not our website, the town website will be listing, I'm not talking to Kathy because it just means more work, Kath, I'm sorry. But we're going to have try to put our events right on the town's website under events. So we will be getting in touch with all of the folks that we possibly can. And I do want to say, you know, we've got a few time slots open if anybody wants to read something from you. I would check with Christina Volpe because she's getting speakers for that Saturday, June 20th, and it's going to be just a phenomenal time. A really great way. Also, Also, on June 4th, every school in Southington is going to be talking about the American Revolution, from high school down to kindergarten. And I want to thank the teachers for extending themselves that way to their classes. And I know it's going to be great. I know Linda Riley has been working with some of her friends also to get some things going down towards where Rochambeau actually marched through Southington and Plantsville, and hoping to meet up with George Washington. And so things are happening. In July, of course, 1st of July will be Music on the Green with the John Mellencamp Tribute Band. They're not coming. It's a tribute band. I'm sure they were tied up. But it's going to be great, and we're hoping for a real turnout for all of Southington to just enjoy the concert and to have fun with each other, and just in a real spirit of celebration. So more to come, more to come. And we have a great team that have come out to volunteer. And it's amazing, you know, to see people from all walks of life wanting to participate. Even the dog, the Friends of Animal Control are coming out. So we've got a lot of stuff going on, and we're going to be posting it up this week. So, Mr. Chairman, I hope that's okay that we post on. Is that okay, Kathy? Kathy's saying,
Can
don't
we,
give me this job.
Alex and Kathy, is it okay to,
Is it okay, boss?
we can promote the,
Kathy is the arbiter of the website, so
I
she
know.
will take care of it.
She will, I'm sure.
so it
Thank
sounds
you.
like between Alex and Kathy, there may be some thumb wrestling going on here.
Lara will be involved too.
And maybe we can promote this on the town's Facebook page, Alex, in the next few weeks for the month of June. That would be great.
Chairman Chaplinsky said he'd dress up as Thomas Jefferson, right? We get
Sure.
a powdered wig.
Yes, I think
For
so.
him?
We could work that out.
Some wire rim glasses. And
You know, Rochambeau's army did have an encampment in.
Yes, in Marion.
In Marion.
Yeah.
There's
On
some
Marion
maps
Avenue.
that we updated. We worked with the
Hist-
organization that is the owner of the map, and we
Yeah,
did get that map updated about
There's
4
actually
years ago.
There's actually a monument to the Rochambeau March. It was very, as a matter of fact, they came back, I just learned from Christina, they returned to that whole area because they had so much fun. I think there was a pub in the area, but I'm not sure.
There was
Hey,
a pub, yes.
Yeah. Hey, thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. Hope to see you there. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you, Victoria.
Okay, moving on to item 5, Town Manager's Report and Communications, Report of the Board of Finance. Mr. Town Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Board of Finance met, they actually had a special meeting last Monday because our charter requires them to set the mill rate by the third Monday in May, and the regular scheduled meeting was later on that week. So they met, they did set the mill rate. Other than setting the mill rate, they took a little bit more action. There was some discussion regarding credit card, town of Southington credit card use, Amazon purchases, sort of checks and balances, et cetera, just due to the recent news reports in the media. A lot of back and forth. The chair asked that the town credit cards statements, monthly statements, and Amazon purchases will be provided at the next meeting just for the Board of Finance to review if they want to look at for their own volition. It'll be in part of the minutes. There's nothing to hide there. So that occupied a lot of the time. When you make a motion tonight to approve the minutes, I will just ask that the motion exclude the mill rate decision, because that is the one thing that the Board of Finance has in the charter, that they do control the mill rate. The town council does not control the mill rate. So that's the one thing I'm asking when we get to that part of the meeting.
Any questions for the Town Manager? Okay, moving on, item B, Planning and Zoning, Plan of Conservation and Development Draft.
Mr. Chairman, we did have Mr. Chaplinsky. I know I see a lot of folks. I see a lot of folks from the Planning and Zoning Commission here and the POC committee, so I'd welcome up Mr. Chaplinsky and whoever else you'd like to bring with him. We do have a presentation ready. Alan, I believe, has it prepped, but I'm gonna go grab him.
The more handsome, smarter Chaplinsky. You mean?
Where is it?
Mr. Vice Chair?
Oh, there we go. I brought a printed copy just in case.
And we have representation from the Planning and Zoning Commission here, and we also have Vice Chairwoman Clark is here, who also was on the committee, who will also say a few words after the presentation.
Yeah, thank you, council members. I appreciate your time as always. Todd Chaplinsky here on behalf of the PZC and also the chair of the POCD subcommittee. So I just wanted to speak to you tonight a little bit about some of our work on the POCD. I do have a slideshow here that was provided to us by our counterparts at SLR, who was our consultant that helped us update the POCD for 2026. So I'm going to run through the slides here. I'm not going to go into as much detail as the folks at SLR did, just in the interest of time. But just to give you a high-level overview of kind of some of the logistical processes that we went through. And naturally, if you have any questions, maybe might be easiest if you save them to the end, or whatever you prefer. You feel free to interrupt me as well. So looking here, now just to start, this was provided to us, as you see, on April 21st. So the document was not fully complete at that point, but was in probably, I'll say, a 94% complete state. It really just needed some picture updates and a few small edits. So generally speaking, it's largely complete. Let me just go down here. So like I said, I'll run through the slides at a high level. So I think many of you are familiar with the POCD process. I know we went through this in 2016 as well as 2006 and presumably 1996. I didn't go back that far, but the state of Connecticut requires us to do this every 10 years. Looking at, amending every 10 years, evaluating the physical, economic, social, and governmental factors in the community. And then we also must consider both state and broader regional efforts, including the 6 growth management principles of the state's conservation development plan. So I'll go through the planning process here. So the team consisted of the Planning and Zoning Department, naturally, the subcommittee that I referenced earlier, and then SLR Consulting. The timeline you can see there really started in spring of 2025, and it will conclude in the summer of 2026 with the eventual final adoption of the POCD document. So you can see a few different items there that occurred within the spring of 2025 to the summer of 2026, and I will also touch upon some of those further in the presentation, but high level there. So the project really started out with a snapshot of where Southington is today. You can see some of the high-level headers there, including the, I won't read them all verbatim, but regarding housing, transportation, economic profile, some of the community facilities and recreation. So that was really largely an effort on SLR's part to understand where Southington is today. You can see, going back to the second slide there, some of the public engagement efforts being a community survey. There were 2 open houses, a stakeholder roundtable, and then also an email outreach. So the community survey was launched, I forget exactly when, but effectively it went out, and I know many of you saw the links and some of the advertisements for it. Went out on many of the Facebook social media pages, so you can see some of the links there. Ted Kabata, who's with us tonight, was very gracious to be able to keep those posted and monitor that. So we had 2 of those, and then also we placed advertisements and flyers in some of the municipal properties in town to try and encourage people to take the survey. Also multiple reach outs during that period of time just to remind people that we had the survey open. Use a stakeholder roundtable there. So basically that speaks to some of the meetings that we had with the various department heads within the municipal government to understand where some of their concerns were and what some of their thoughts were. So we had, SLR did have a meeting with several of those stakeholders to get some feedback from them. We did email outreach to I'll say several key folks in town that either, are some developers. We have some land planning and use folks and other large property owners in town to try and solicit some of their feedback on some of the challenges maybe that they saw or just some of the things that they hope to see going forward in the town. We probably got about 2/3 of the responses back on those emails because, like I said, they were direct emails. But it was some valuable feedback, I think, overall. You can see the vision statement here that was crafted by SLR. Again, won't read it verbatim. I think the top part kind of speaks to more of kind of the current status of Southington overall, and the second paragraph there speaks more to the forward-looking vision of Southington. I'll keep it there for a minute so you guys can read through it. But, you know, I think that kind of ties the whole document together nicely. So you can see as a result here of the different efforts that were taken by SLR, these were the goals that we typically identified for the document in general. Presuming community identity, managing growth, investing in community facilities, recreation and sustainability, expanding housing and improving affordability, improving transportation, connectivity and infrastructure, strengthening commercial areas and supporting local businesses. Some of these you'll probably notice that they are often aligned with some of the concerns that even at the state level, especially of affordability. So not really all that different from some of the broader you know, issues that I think Connecticut residents, and maybe even more broadly across the nation, are experiencing. So, and maybe not ones that were all that surprising either. So you can see here, now this breaks it down into the various goals that we identified above with some of the, I'll call them sub-bullet points of the sub-strategies there. You can see that there's 6 different sub-strategies listed there to be able to try and meet this goal, with some of the logic and explanation as to why these goals were developed here. On the right-hand side in the red, I know it's very small, I apologize for that. Oh, just as a heads up for anybody either in the room and on the council, this document is, or the broader POCD document is on the Southington Town webpage under, I think, the news section. So, you know, all these things can be found in more detail on the page. I should have said that right in the beginning. But you can see goal 2 here, investing in the community facilities, recreation, sustainability, and again, the 5 sub-bullet points below that. And some of the logic for, you know, why we have those. Again, a lot of this was developed as a result of the feedback that we received when we did, I should also say this, when we did send out the survey, we did get 674 responses, which I thought was, you know, a pretty strong response rate overall. It wasn't exactly the number that we wanted to try and hit. We wanted a little bit more than that, just to kind of eliminate nuances and some of the outliers. But, you know, you can only promote it as much as you possibly can, and you can't force anybody to take it. So, but we did get some valuable feedback in that regard. See goal 3 here, expanding housing options and improving affordability. I know this is a hot topic again across the state, especially with the bill that was just passed at the state level regarding housing in Connecticut. So this one will probably take, you know, will be kind of a, I don't say a prioritized item, but will you know, reflect very strongly upon what the state is doing in that regard. So, goal number 4 here, strengthening commercial areas and supporting local businesses. I think this is kind of goes without saying that we want to support our local businesses and ensure that, you know, we have a strong local community and presence in the town. You know, there's no strong communities in town that don't have a strong local business presence. So those are the items for that. There's 5 different sub-strategies. And the 5th one, improving transportation, connectivity, and infrastructure. I think this may have been one of the key differences between the 2016 and this POCD version. I don't think there was as much of a focus on connectivity at that point in time when it comes to digital connectivity and things like that. You know, upgrading, you know, electrical infrastructure and things like that to ensure, you know, high-speed, you know, internet access or just digital communications and things like that. So I think this may have been a little bit, it's not an outlier, but just something that was different traditionally from maybe earlier POCD goals. You can see the 6 different sub-bullet points there. And then at this point, I think it oh yeah, okay, good stuff. So there's an implementation strategy here. I don't believe this is the full implementation strategy. So because you can see goal 1 with the title there, and basically they broke out what the very specific steps are to implement these specific goals, and then who would be responsible for it. So you can see. In this case, on the first slide would be the PZC, would be the responsible entity with a supporting entity as well as a timeline. And the reason I speak to that is we haven't finalized the details yet for this, but there was talk about potentially having an execution committee for this specifically that might follow, basically would be kind of a continuation of the POCD subcommittee, but responsible for oversight of execution of these steps to, ensure that we're not just basically putting this document on the shelf and saying, hey, we did it, and, we checked the box, but it's just collecting dust now. So, more to come on that. I don't have a lot of details on that at this point in time, but that was discussed previously amongst the group. So. Again, the other goals have similar action steps in relation to this. There are other responsible entities as well. I just don't have those in the slide presentation. My apologies for that. But then there's also a future land use plan. So kind of looking at how potential land may be used for some of the goals and the implementation strategies that accompany them. So that's kind of a visual representation. Again, I know it's small. Apologies. But that is on the town website for review as needed. And then some of the next steps here. So we're kind of in the middle where effectively tonight, as you're probably well aware, you vote to endorse or reject the plan. You may vote to, or may hold a public hearing if you wish. A ton of people here. But, and then we also sent it off to the CRCOG, basically for their review as well. So it kind of in those 2 boxes at the top, that's where we are. I'm trying to think if there's anything else specific to this slide. And then the final, it originally went through the PZC, in which we pushed it basically to your body. So that has been reviewed originally, but it will also circle back to the PZC eventually for voting for either final adoption or updates as needed. That's it. Yeah. Any questions for me? Happy to address as needed.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Mike.
Todd, thank you. Good presentation. I was able to look at it in our packet or in the on the town stuff as well. So I know how much hard work goes into this program. Ms. Clark knows as well, being had your position 10 years ago, and I can't believe 10 years have gone by already. So
say time flies when you're having fun. From what I've been
listen,
told.
planning and zoning holds a good place in my heart. You guys work hard. You are the hardest working board in town, without a doubt. And so I really appreciate the work that goes into this, and the many nights where I tried to come to as many as I could, and you guys are here with flow charts and trying to help the public with any questions that they had about Southington's future. So it's such an important document, and thank you very much for the hard work that you all put in, and I mean that sincerely. Thank you.
Appreciate it, Mike. Thank you for the kind words.
Vice Chair Clark, did you want to say a few words?
Sure, I'll say something. Well, first I want to thank Todd and our entire committee for, yes, there's lots of long hours spent, lots of actually really great discussions that come out of this, and a lot of alignment. I know from the 2016 POCD, we talked about a lot of the same things, actually, and there were late nights, and talking about the next 10 years of the town is very difficult, because what does that even look like? And so the most important factors to me in this plan are, first, one, that it's driven by our community feedback. That's so important. And it's a combination of feedback too. The community members, the stakeholders, department heads. It really is a collaborative document. The second thing is that this is a bipartisan document. I think one of the most impactful things that I've ever done in my service to the town is work on subcommittees just like this, because this is where a lot of the work is done, and you are working together for a common, for the common good of the community. So that's important as well. And then the third, which you touched on, is the implementation. So on the 2016, we had probably, I want to say it was a couple hundred action items, and we aligned our actions with those goals on about 90% of them, if not more. And so I know I have high hopes for this because of the team that we have. So just a couple things that I loved seeing were highlights that were similar themes as we had in 2016, which were preservation of our community identity, historical assets, and open space were very important to our community members, and then investing in our community facilities and recreation and sustainability. So it's great to see that everything's still, there's a focus there, and that's important as we make our decisions. And this is also a guide. It's not, these are things just to guide in our decisions, and we need that guide because this is a foundation to what we're making difficult decisions on. So I also want to just mention that I want to kind of just dedicate this to Bob Hammersley because he was so invested, obviously, in planning and zoning, and we hit a little delay at the beginning, and Bob took no pause to make sure that this thing was going to happen, and we hit the ground running, and he made sure that, we got it done. And so I just want to mention Bob and thank him for getting this going as well.
Absolutely. Thanks, Jen.
Nicely said. Thank you, Vice Chair Clark. Anybody else? Okay, a couple things from my side. Thanks, Todd, for coming out, and thanks to everybody else who are on the various boards and also contributed to this, and contributed maybe to previous ones as well, either directly or indirectly. We appreciate all of that and all that you do. I also want to just say that it's easy to overlook this as just an exercise every 10 years, but I do fundamentally believe, as Jen said and Mike, that this is a guiding principle that we should all be, each time we consider decisions here at the council, at planning and zoning, at Board of Finance, we should be considering these principles, and what is it that the community asked us to consider? What is it that the workshops asked us to consider? Because we've spent a year to put this together and really take a grassroots approach to building up our strategy for the next 10 years. And so I just ask everybody to consider this. I wanted to also highlight just a few things that I thought were noteworthy from the workshops, but also that made its way in here. Preserving the town's identity, some new signage for some of our village areas, which I think would be really nice. Open space and infrastructure. Open space has been near and dear to my heart, and I know many of us, and so we'll continue to look for areas to invest in open space and preserve open space and get grant funding for open space. Recreational activities and continue to monitor trends. One that's kind of been out there for a little while, and I do hope we get back to this, is bathrooms on the linear trails. I hear that so often from people who are on the linear trails. It would be great if we had a bathroom. I think the closest bathroom that I know of is in Cheshire. They do have a community bathroom there, close to the downtown, right there in the main crossing. So I think it would be great if Southington had one of those at one point. I know we talked about the train depot as an area, and we acquired the property next door to the train depot, partially. And Chris, I think you remember when we were on open space, part of that recommendation was so that we could put a restroom on that site, because so many people park there and so many people visit the train depot who are stopping on the linear trail, either walking or biking, to check the train depot out, and it's a great spot for a restroom. Supporting existing farms. Not just preserving existing farms, but supporting the high school agricultural program. We partnered with our high school recently to get a state grant and to use the Pleasant View site next to DePaulo. Jen and Chris are both active in that, and so that's coming to reality, and we're going to see more ag-sci activity on the Pleasant Street site. A couple more is improving road and infrastructure. Pavement management. We've all been working on pavement management. We have to continue that. We started to accelerate our pavement this year, and we're going to continue to accelerate pavement next year, thanks to the residents who agreed in the referendum to give more money to the community to accelerate paving in our town. And then collaborating with DOT on the Route 10 and 322 interchange, huge important issue. and Connecticut DOT to improve those signal push buttons along our major routes for pedestrian crossings. They're hideous, and I'm glad to see that the state of Connecticut was listening to us, and they've begun to do that and have plans to start working on those this summer. So thank you to the Connecticut DOT there on Route 10. Yep, investing in infrastructure improvements. You know, tonight we talked about this with a STEEP grant. And so when we sit up here and we talk about should we come up with some money and trying to find creative ways to partner with folks, that's in the POCD. Invest in public realm and infrastructure improvements to encourage economic development in our commercial areas. So, and it goes to industrial areas, so that's great. And then the last thing is, under this support active transportation, maintain active sidewalks. This council approved sidewalks last year. We're gonna have more discussions on extending and getting those things done. Bicycle and pedestrian-friendly access, you're gonna see on our agenda for the linear trail on the northern part, and maintaining our sidewalk program that we have a fee in lieu of. So I appreciate that all those things and much more made it into the POCD. I encourage everybody to look at them, and yeah, we'll have this on the agenda later on in the meeting to talk about.
I
Thank
just
you.
could give just one more minute just to give a quick thanks to some of the folks that were
Please.
instrumental in this. Just want to say thanks to the POCD subcommittee who was kind enough to support me even tonight. Caleb, Val, Ted, Pete, and Cecil. I know he's not here tonight, but they were all instrumental in helping out and supporting it and always offering their thoughts and time and everything else. Vice Chairwoman Clock, thank you so much for your generous amount of time. I know you're very busy, and especially in regards to the beginning when, to your point, it was a little bit bumpy and really getting that moving. I want to give thanks to the SLR crew, Chanel Lobdell and Taylor Daigle. They were both very helpful. I mean, they were really the first line of defense in this whole process, so they're more intricately aware of it than even I am. So huge thanks to them. Dave LaValle, our acting planner, as all of you know, was also very helpful. I mean, he was, really working between the POCD subcommittee and SLR as the key liaison. Wonderful human being, so thanks, Dave. And then to Jen's point, Bob Hammersley, former chair of the PZC that we all hold dearly. This was really something he held in high regard. I remember him saying to me that, it was something that he, if he could have run again, he would have wanted to see that through anyway to the end. So the one thing I can say is, Bob, I hope we did you well in this regard. So thank you to everybody in that regard.
Thanks. Tony.
Todd, just one quickly.
Sure.
I think one thing you mentioned, it's not really part of this per se, but it's afterwards. The idea of having a committee, a subcommittee that looks at all the goals and sees how we make progress against those goals. I think that's one of the most important things we can do with this. So I really hope you guys do that.
Yeah.
And whatever help you need. Because I think that's the most important. It's a very comprehensive report. It really does the job. But the next 10 years, be interesting to see how we progress.
Execute against it. Yes, no, I agree wholeheartedly, and I think that's something that really I don't want to say it's an afterthought, but it's something in which just to be able to identify who would be on it at this point. But I mean, I think to your point, it's really something that's necessary to ensure that we're executing against it and not just letting it sit idle and hope that things just happen to be completed as a result of just town business type of thing, to actually have it steering in the right direction.
Yeah,
so
right.
yeah, no, thank you, Tony. I appreciate
That's
that.
brilliant. Yeah.
Sure.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming out, Todd.
Of course.
Okay, item C, tie and bond recommendation for the PCB remediation construction oversight. Mr. Town Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So, Mr. Morrison touched on this earlier in his sewer committee report, but at the sewer plant, we're in a big phosphorus project, and we've had an issue of PCBs being on the plant for many, many, many decades. And every time we do an expansion or do some work over there, we typically run into some additional PCBs that are in the ground, the soil. And so you can't just build on top of it or dig them out and throw them away. You need to take them, store them, dispose of them in a certain fashion. Tie and Bond has been our vendor. They've been boots on the ground. They designed the plant. They've been almost there weekly, consulting on the plant. So when it came time to designing the new phosphorus system and taking out the PCB removal, we looked to them. They went out to bid. We went to bid about 10 years ago for this. So I do think we should be going out to bid in the future, but they do hold the current bid for the work at the plant. Like Mr. Morrison said, this project is capped at $375,000. That's the top. It's an hourly rate, but it's capped at $375,000. And they came up with a very clever way to save the town millions and millions of dollars. Initially, the plan was to scoop up and truck the contaminated material off-site at a cost of over $1 million. The plan that we have in front of us is to remove the material, encapsulate it, and store it on-site in a contained apparatus indefinitely. It'll save the ratepayers literally millions of dollars. So Time Bond came up with the plan. We've got quotes for the plan, and what we're looking to do tonight is to get the town council to approve the sewer committee's recommendation that we move forward with Time Bond for not to exceed $375,000 as our consultant on the PCB removal project.
Questions on tie and bond recommendation? I like saving millions of dollars.
Millions.
Hopefully that gets passed on to the ratepayers
Of course.
once it's done.
Of course.
And we don't have all the
Tony.
liability for the
Of course.
PCBs. We do have, there's different companies that we know that brought the PCBs there through their wastewater. So we're not on the hook for all of it. It's a cost share. So luckily, we're not on the hook for everything.
Excellent, thank you.
And we're also going to get some money back from General Electric,
Yes,
correct?
GE. Yep,
Yeah.
GE's going to be kicking us off.
So,
Okay, thank you. Item D, steep grant recommendation for 682 Curtis Street, which I think we spoke about.
We did, Mr. Chair. I don't want to belabor the point, but I'd ask that it be opened up for discussion if there's a motion on the table when it comes to the action in the old business.
Okay, sounds good. Any other questions for the town manager? Item 6, town attorney's report. A, sewer code revision 345-1.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. So I talked about it in the last couple meetings. I've been working with Dave Norris, who's been instrumental in trying to refine some of the definitions or add definitions to the code we have right now. We don't have the word available defined right now, and it's caused some hardship, as Tony's alluded to in past meetings, where someone's had the availability to be on the sewer map, but it cost them tens of thousands of dollars to hook up. So Dave looked at other municipalities. I worked with him to come up with language to define the word available. That's included in the packet. So I'm asking that it be reviewed and we schedule a public hearing. This isn't necessarily a revision to the code. We're adding to the code. We're just adding 2 definitions. We're defining available as public sewer shall be within 50 feet of the subject's property lot frontage or require less than 200 feet of building sewer as measured from the public sewer to the building drain, unless the town engineer determines site conditions make such a connection impracticable. Then we also have sewer service area, which is sort of self-defining in the sense that we have a map as to what areas are serviced by the sewer, but since we were being extra cautious, we figured we'd add in an actual definition of the service area as well, and it is, quote, "This includes areas that currently have sanitary sewer infrastructure already installed in areas for which sanitary sewer infrastructure may be planned. Areas located within the boundary line shown on the sewer service area map are included in the long-term planning process for providing sewage treatment at Southington Water Pollution Control Plan," unquote. So, happy to answer any questions about it. I will note that the code was revised, I think it was 2023, with regard to lowering the repair cost, or actually heightening the repair cost. It was $1,000. If you had to make repairs over $1,000 to your septic, you're required to do a mandatory connection, and that was raised, I think, to $10,000. So something that has been evolving for the last 5-10 years, but we're hoping to continue to crystallize this and make it clear and concise.
Questions for the town attorney? Okay, that one is one we're going to be looking to, as proposed, send to a public hearing for our next meeting, which is June, is it the 8th? June 8th?
Yep.
Okay.
And then following up from the last meeting as well, the Park Street abandonment from from 1967, 66 actually. I'm working with Aaron O'Connell to figure out if that land is being taxed right now. So we know it's kind of no man's land on GIS, but we want to see if it's being taxed. If it's not, then we're going to obviously take the necessary steps to make sure that land that we don't necessarily own is having taxes paid on it. So hopefully more to follow on that.
Any questions for the town attorney on the Park Street abandonment? Okay. Item 7, public communications. Is there any member of the public who would like to come out and speak? Any resident of Southington who would like to speak tonight? Okay, hearing none, we'll close public communications and move on to item 8, old business. Action on report of the Board of Finance. I'm looking for a motion to approve the Board of Finance meeting minutes, the special meeting of, Alex, what's the date?
That is the 18th of May.
May 18th, special meeting of the Board of Finance, with the exception of the mill rate setting approval from the Board of Finance.
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Second.
We have a motion from Mike and a second from Chris. Any discussion on that? Let's call the roll on it.
Palmieri,
Yes.
Serafino,
Yes.
Zoni,
Yes.
Clock,
Yes.
Del Santo,
Yes.
Gaida,
Yes.
Morelli,
Yes.
Morrison,
Yes.
Chaplinsky.
Yes, motion passes unanimously. Thanks, everybody. Item B, action on planning and zoning, plan of conservation and development draft. We're looking to get a motion to approve that
Motion to approve, Mr. Chair.
from Mike. Motion from Mike. Anybody? Second from Josh. Any discussion on the POCD? Okay, thanks, everybody, for coming out. Why don't we call the roll on that as well, please?
Palmieri,
Yes.
Serafino,
Yes.
Zoni,
Yes.
Clock,
Yes.
Del Santo,
Yes.
Gaida,
Yes.
Morelli,
Yes.
Morrison,
Yes.
Chaplinsky.
Yes, motion passes unanimously. Item C, action on tie and bond recommendation for the PCB remediation construction oversight. I believe that's not to exceed $375,000 per the town
Motion to
manager.
approve.
Motion from Mike and a second from Chris to award tie and bond recommendation, not to exceed $375,000. Any discussion? Okay, call the roll, please.
Palmieri,
Yes.
Serafino,
Yes.
Zoni,
Yes.
Clock,
Yes.
Del Santo,
Yes.
Gaida,
Yes.
Morelli,
Yes.
Morrison,
Yes.
Chaplinsky.
Yes, motion passes unanimously. Thanks, everybody. And before we table this, item D, action on steep grant recommendation for 682 Curtis Street. Does anybody else have any comments or, yeah, go ahead, Chris.
Just one comment. So when we talk about these, Mike, I'll defer to you. I know we're always saying they have to be shovel-ready. So, Alex, you mentioned earlier that we may not be able to get, the cost. I would think there's got to be something at least approximate to know what the distance of the road is, the cost would be. Because otherwise, how could we say it's shovel-ready if we apply for the grant?
Well,
You
part of the shovel-ready piece is that, engineering is ready
Right.
to go. That's what they don't want. They don't want us to be held up for 6 months while we get the maps drawn, you know what I mean? So all that stuff should be done ahead of time.
Yeah, okay. But with maps, then we should
Sure.
extrapolate approximate cost, right?
We
Do
know
we
it's
have
about
maps?
$1,200 a foot for the road. We don't know, is it gonna be a private road, is it gonna be a public road? We don't have a defined schematic yet, so there's a lot of unknown
Yeah,
right
we
now.
gotta
That's why I
get-
want the engineering
should get an
department to
answer.
kind of put together something
Okay.
that we could bring forward.
I don't think 2 weeks is gonna delay us too much, so I'll make a motion to table.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a sec from Mike and a second from Chris to table. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, motion passes unanimously to table. Item E, schedule a public hearing on section 345-1 of the town ordinances for June 8th, 2026, as proposed by the town attorney.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion from Mike and a second from Tony. All in favor of the public hearing scheduling? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion passes unanimously. We'll put that on the June 8th agenda, Alex. 9, new business appointments. Aquarian District Representative Policy Board, 1 member. Tony.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to put forward the name of Robert Tonen, 106 Asheville Drive, Plantsville.
Second.
We have a motion for Robert Tonen, also known as Bob here in town. Excellent. And we have a second. Any discussion on that? Any discussion? Okay, hearing none. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes unanimously. Congratulations, Bob. Item 2, Zoning Board of Appeals alternate, 1 member, 4-year term expiring November 2029.
Mr. Chair, I have the name of Alessandro Plazzetti of 358 West Ridge Road.
Wedgewood Road. Wedgewood Road.
Wedgewood, sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Second.
We have a motion from Josh and a second from Mike. Alessandro Palazzetti, 358 Wedgewood. Any discussion on that? Okay, hearing none. All in favor? Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Wonderful. Motion passes unanimously. Congratulations to Bob and Alessandro. We're going to ask,
Chair, I'd like to make a motion to go into an executive session, barring the press and the public, but allowing, who's got to be here with us?
town manager and town attorney,
Town manager and the town attorney.
for executive session.
Executive session regarding land acquisition, north and central parcels, Connecticut General Statute 1-200, subsection C, Part D.
Thanks for reading that for me. Appreciate that.
Second.
We have a motion from Mike and a second from the vice chair. Discussion, Chris.
Before we vote, just to be clarified, there's no action outside of executive session for this matter, correct? Tonight?
Not tonight.
Correct.
Thank you.
No action as a result of tonight's executive session. Okay, any other discussion on executive session? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes unanimously. We're going to move into executive session. It is 8:22.